There is a number of brands associated with Porsche's racing heritage: Rothmans, Mobil 1, Jägermeister and Golf. But there is one that stands out more than any other, and that is Martini. In 2015, Porsche released a limited edition version of their 991, dubbed the Martini Racing Edition. It was a well-spec'd Carrera S with a Martini Racing livery, only being available in two colours, white or black. And this 911? Well, unfortunately this isn't the real deal. But if anything, this is better than the real Martini Edition for a number of reasons. Firstly, the spec. The Martini Editions had fixed specifications. You either had the equipment offered, or you're on your bike home. But this has more. Chief among which is the PCCB. That's Porsche Carbon Ceramic Brakes for the average Joe. It's a special technology which eliminates brake fade, produces less brake dust, that black powder that ruins your freshly cleaned alloys, and is much quieter than regular brakes. This car also has the sport bucket seat option, which I'm yet to see on any other Porsche you've had in stock. They hold you snug, but are still comfortable, and they also recline so you can get passengers in and out the back. If you were to spec this on your Porsche from the factory, you're looking at over £2,200. Secondly, this is a much better deal than a genuine Martini Edition. For a real one, you're looking at paying over twice the price this car is up for a 911 which doesn't even have as good spec as this. The only real Martini Edition for sale at the time of making this film is an eye-watering £165,000. Before I get on to the third point, I would just like to point out that these Martini stripes aren't some Wish.com or eBay purchase. They're actually a factory option through Porsche Tech Equipment, Porsche's official accessory shop, where you can purchase everything from stickers to sports exhaust systems, all official Porsche products. So the third reason why this is better than a real Martini Edition is that if you had a real one on your driveway, that's a car worth deep into six figures, and only 80 of them exist. So you'll be scared to drive it. You won't want to put the miles on it in fear of reducing its value, and you'll not want anyone to damage it in case you never find another one. But this one, okay, it may be rare because of the spec it has, but it's not a limited edition that you may never see another one of, which means you can get in it and drive it without being scared. But before we drive it, let's talk about the history of Martini Racing, as they have a very big legacy. Martini stickers first appeared on Porsches in April 1968, shortly after non-racing related sponsorship was allowed on racing cars. These stickers first appeared on the Porsche 910. During the 1970s, Martini became famous in connection with Porsche Motorsport, sponsoring the works Porsche 917 that won the 1971 24 Hours of Le Mans. The Martini Porsches also won Le Mans in 1976 and 1977 with the Porsche 936, as well as in many other events in the 1970s for the factory Porsche team, with the RSR Turbo, 935 and 936. In 1978, Porsche made a return to the World Rally Championship as a works team, running a 911 SC in the Safari Rally. Martini would then go on to sponsor other brands like Lancia and Ford in the World Rally Championships, Alfa Romeo in the touring cars and DTM, as well as sponsoring the Williams F1 team in the 2010s, but Martini would always remain synonymous with Porsche. When you're driving this car, you know that you're in a serious bit of kit, but at the same time, while this is a very serious car and you could set some pretty good lap times in it, it's still civilized. I mean, yeah, you got these bucket seats, but they're coated in leather and they're actually very comfortable. You got the steering wheel is really nice to hold, and you got your automatic gearbox as well. So when you're not in the mood to have fun, you just slide it into D, and you've not got a problem. Now, what I really like about this car is the fact that you've got the sport design steering wheel, which gives you the paddles at the back. Now, as standard, all you would get is the push and pull buttons, which they just don't quite feel the same as when you've got the proper paddle shifters. So it means that you can shift down and go into manual mode, and it does feel a lot more tactile. You feel a lot more involved than when you're just pushing and pulling. car is it sort of echoes the GT3 in a way without actually being a GT3. You've got your aero kit to make it look a bit more aggressive. You've got your big alloys. You've got your PCCB brakes. You've got the PDK gearbox, which gives you much quicker shifting times. But you've got your creature comforts as well. You've got your leather interior. You've got your cruise control. You've got satellite navigation. You've got air conditioning, which the GT3 doesn't have. It just gives you a much more comfortable experience. It means that when you don't want to be thrashing it around on a back road or on a track, you've got a comfortable car that you could drive for hours on end and not get tired. This car being from 2015 means that it is the last of the naturally aspirated 911s, because after this they then went for the smaller engines with turbochargers to help with emissions and such. But this sort of deducted from the driving experience of the 911s, and it also plagued the Caymans and the Boxsters as well, because the 718 Caymans and Boxsters went for the 2-litre turbo engines. So this is the last of the true naturally aspirated 911s. So it's almost definite that this will become a future classic, especially with the spec that this car has. Let's talk numbers. This car produces 414 brake horsepower, 500 newton meters of torque, and this all means a top speed of 190 miles an hour and a 0 to 60 time of 4.1 seconds, which is blisteringly quick. Now, comparing this to the previous generation, the 997, I found that with the rear-wheel drive 997s, they feel a bit light on the front end and can be a bit difficult to place on the road. It was only the 4-wheel drive ones that you had a bit more security. But this, even though it's only a 2S, I mean only a 2S, even though it's got rear-wheel drive and not 4-wheel drive, it still feels you've got a bit of weight at the front end, just enough to give you that confidence that you're not going to be having to be all twitchy with the steering wheel. You can place it properly on the road and it drives superb. I mean, it is now currently raining. I've got loads of confidence in this car. I do not feel at all like I'm going to spin it or make a mistake. Like, this car has got so much grip, I will chicken out before it lets go. So this car also has the PCCB brakes, which stands for Porsche Carbon Ceramic Brakes. Now, I'm going to demonstrate to you just how good that these brakes are. So I'm currently going along at 30 miles an hour, and if I stamp on the brakes, oh, that is literally, I stopped on a dime. It has got so much braking force. It will rip your face off. It is that vigorous. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought of this video. Give us any suggestions of what you think we can do better in the future. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.